Now, you may have seen a video online that's been making the rounds, and for good reason, because this is potentially one of the weirdest videos I've seen done by a football club.
I'm delighted, so thank you to Mr. Marinakis for believing in me. I feel like we've been on a roller coaster of a journey. We've got to showcase what we're about and what we're trying to build as a team. And I feel like Mr. Marinakis is the base of that.
I think this new contract really shows the ambition, not just of yourself, but of Mr. Marinakis here as well. That ambition must just drive through the dressing room, right?
100%, and you know, Mr. Marinakis is the main reason for that.
The result is that at the end of the day, we always win.
Now, yesterday I put out a tweet speaking about how we all can see what's going on here. Like, this is obviously a very weird situation and something that you don't see at any other football club in any other situation you ever see. Never, and I mean genuinely never, have we ever seen a player doing an interview next to the club owner, referring them by name as if they're the teacher, looking over to them almost every 15-20 seconds. It's a very weird situation. Now, for some Forest fans, it looks like they are aware that, yeah, this is weird, but hey, we're happy that he's staying. And then others are what I can only describe as tribal brain, where no matter what happens, as long as towards your football club in a good way, then you don't care. You see all the time, like when there's a football match and there's a penalty and it's in your favour, you're like, yeah, that's a penalty because of this and that, but if it's the other way around and it's the other team, then you think it's complete bollocks. It happens all the time, and this is what I'm seeing here. I'm sorry, if you're a Forest fan and you're going to try and give me any stick here of saying this is weird, then you're clearly too far deep. And if you're looking at the social media, it's just got this really weird vibe to everything. Like, for example, at the end of the day, we always win. Mentality, end of the day, we always win. We share the same dreams and ambitions about the owner. Homes with the heart of the owner, and Gibbs right there as well. A tweet with a statement from our owner with the full name right there. This comes across more like ego than anything else. Our owner. It's like a goddamn dictatorship. So let's get into this guy, shall we? Let's go into it. Evangelos Marinakis. Now, this man is incredibly dodgy. Incredibly dodgy. If you're a Forest fan and you don't think he is dodgy, then you are, my friend, brainwashed. He is, I mean, one look at his Wikipedia page with everything that's been linked in here, with his controversies of sports, alleged drug trafficking, and his political influence. He is bad news. He is a bully, and I remember actually one of my first times that I ever heard of this guy's name was when Burnley played another club that he owns, Enquires in Europa League. The story actually goes as this, that at half-time when Burnley played in Greece, I was actually there at that game for the European tour, that Burnley were at half-time, it was 1-1 at half-time, long behold, there was a rumour, actually reported by the Burnley press, that Evangelos Marinakis went into the officials' dressing room with the referee and the linesman, reported that he went into the dressing room at half-time. Lo and behold, 5 minutes into the second half, we have a red card. Isn't that interesting? Burnley manager Sean Dyche also accused the Olympiacos staff for intimidating the officials as well. There's no reason for the Burnley press to make this up. It's Burnley, for Christ's sake. They're not going to make this up. Lo and behold, they reported this, and then they had to issue an apology about a week later after being threatened by him. In Greek football, he's made a name for himself, to say the least. This includes many Greek football match-fixing scandals, and the main one being, of course, in 2015. Now, in 2021, this came out that all suspects were cleared of wrongdoing and were acquitted. Of course, it didn't also stop there. In 2009-2010, he was also involved in a report involving irregular betting patterns in Greek Cup and Second Division games. This was the Koreapolis match-fixing investigation. You know what I mentioned about him being in a Burnley locker room? He did the same thing in 2014 when he was found to be inside the referee's locker room at half-time during the Football Cup final between Olympiacos and Asteras Tripolis. That he did get found going in the half-time dressing room, stating that he only went in there to wish them good luck. Olympiacos also went on to win that game after being 1-1 at half-time. And his behaviour at Nottingham Forest just comes across just like a child. For example, we all remember what happened at Goodison Park about a year or so ago when Nottingham Forest played Everton in the game. There were maybe 3 incidents that, in my opinion, only one I would say was probably actually the wrong decision, and then he went out going out against the Premier League, threatening legal action. 3 extremely poor decisions, 3 penalties not given, which we simply cannot accept. In my opinion, out of the 3, only one of them I would say is actually justifiable. That could be a penalty. It's also stating that we won the PGMOL, that that the VAR is a Luton fan before the game, but they didn't change him. Our patience has been tested multiple times, and that they will consider their options. Keep in mind that when they were given at the end of that year to go and vote against VAR, they still voted to keep it in. Also, don't forget that Gary Neville was actually banned from going to the City Ground by Marinakis because he didn't like what he said about him. Because absolutely silencing the media is definitely one way to make people not think that you're a bit of a maniac. Going back to Marinakis himself, of course, going back to the mid-2010s, there's of course some more alleged drug trafficking. At one stage, he was actually charged in 2018 with drug trafficking. There is just a lot of things linked with this guy. Now, the thing is, he's good because for many of these accusations, he seems like he gets removed from them. It seems like he's done a pretty good job of not being linked to any of these. Like, the investigations are genuinely endless, that there's so much that there must be some truth. Otherwise, this is the most incredible amount of false allegations on one person of all time, which is what he is saying. There is a smear campaign on him that is led to believe that the government is actually going against him with all these allegations, or enemies that he has are also claiming that he's doing all these things. One person, for example, was the chairman of Greek club Aris Thessaloniki, who apparently has teamed up with the former chief of staff to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for a false and defamatory campaign against him. Look, I understand that this is quite a lot, and because this is quite a lot, and I probably am saying things which I probably shouldn't do right now, but this is just what's going on. I get it with Forest fans that they will look at him and thinking that he's fighting for them, and that they just simply are going up against it with the big boys and they won't be bullied and all that kind of stuff. But I genuinely believe if they just saw it from a different perspective, from just looking at a different club instead, they would think the exact same thing we think, and that this guy is a maniac and he's running this football club like it's his own personal toy. Because he does do some good things. He gets involved with the community. He actually does some good charitable things around the community, which is a good thing. I just can't help but feel like it's all part of some kind of ploy to make himself look better and avoid all these other bad things he's doing. But I guess that's fine, because if he's doing something good, and he's doing something good, so it makes it all worthwhile. But that doesn't mean that him doing something good doesn't mean you should forget all the other bad things as well. Because when he joined Nottingham Forest back in 2017, they were in a complete mess. And he had this idea, this dream with them to buy them, to build them up, and to give them a reason to believe. So then when he joined and he invested £50 million into developing the City Ground and to actually improving their club and to invest into it, and he did, and they are now promoted. I get it completely why Forest fans want to back him to the hills, because without him they wouldn't be where they are today. But my god, you got to admit he's a dodgy guy. But I guess they would say, aren't most billionaires all a bit dodgy, right? And that's where football's at. Now, they set reasons of this release clause and why, even though it was apparently matched, that it's not matched, and there were some parts of the contract that wasn't even, able to actually activate the release clause. I don't know what Spurs have done here to mess this up, but this clearly must be something on Spurs' side, because unless if Gibbs White refused to join them, then I don't understand how this couldn't have gone through. Of course, it seems Spurs have clearly messed something up here. Either way, I still feel like this entire situation and kind of Marinakis' involvement in the club in this way just looks odd, and I can see why fans like him. I just think it could be done in a much better way. By no means, and I must say, do I hate Nottingham Forest or whatever, because that's the same thing you hear after every conversation like this. No, I don't hate Nottingham Forest. I just think this is extremely weird. But there is a part of me that's thinking, okay, well, at least he cares about the club, at least he cares about them, that he's doing all he can. There's this idea that he's fighting for all of us. He's fighting for the clubs that aren't part of the top six, the Newcastles and the Villas that's trying to fight against that top six bubble. He's trying to do it for all of us, saying that they won't be bullied by these top clubs. And there's part of me that respects that. There's a part of me that likes that, because, fair enough. Feel free and comment below your thoughts on Nottingham Forest, about Marinakis. Of course, many of the things that he's been accused of, what you can find online about him, he's found to be acquitted for. But there's just that part of me of like, if someone's been accused of doing something wrong 10 times, you know, by 10 different things, and he seems to get out of most of them, then like there must be a reason why he's linked to all of these in the first place. I think common sense can come through here. You've got all these reasons to link someone to a crime, but you just can't prove it. I just think there's something dodgy there. There's a common denominator there. So yeah, comment down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.